This is Jim Emter, Van Ahn Company, Alexandria, Minnesota. They're closing grain and livestock comments for May 10th, 2018. Corn market today steady to down 3/4 cent. Soybeans up 5 to 7. Chicago wheat down 4 to 6 3/4. Minneapolis wheat down 1 to 2. Kansas City down 4 to 4 1/2. When you look to the news today, we had a lot of information. ConAb out with actually a little bit negative stats for corn and soybeans. They're taking their beans up to near that 116.9, nearly 117 million metric ton production, and that's got the market scrambled a little bit. Also, corn not as big a pullback as traders were expecting. We then got the export sales, which were below expectations on the lower end of range, which was a little bit disappointing on the day. And then you got in here and you got the USDA report. All wheat came in at 1.921 billion. Average trade guess was 1.777, so greater wheat production than what the market was thinking. Corn carryout, old crop 2.182, old crop beans 530, old crop wheat 1.70. So really no surprises there, all right in line with expectations. But when we get to the new crop, that's where the news begins to hit. New crop corn came in at 1.682 billion bushels for new crop corn carryout forecast. Average trade guess was 1.628, but this is a sizable decline from last year's, which we again reiterated at 2.182. So we're talking a pretty stark decline there of nearly 500 million bushels to start out this new crop year with a 174 yield. So very limited in our margin for error, and with some delayed planting in the northern plains, we're going to need to keep an eye on that. Beans, the big story there, came in at 415 million bushels. Average trade guess coming in was 535 million bushels. USDA took up export demand 225 million bushels, and that's why you see that carryout dragging down to some degree. Now, we're of the opinion that you'll see acres uptick nearly 1, possibly upwards of 2 million acres, and I think that's what tempered the trade to some degree today, not to make this a bigger story, but definitely below expectations on the lower end of any of the trade thoughts coming in. When you look to wheat, came in at 955 million bushels, right in line with expectations. But as we look to Brazil, came in at 117 million metric tons, Argentina at 39, so a 2 million metric ton increase in Brazil, only a 1 million metric ton decline in Argentina. And the world numbers, big one that stands out there, corn, 159.15 million metric ton forecast for carryout worldwide. Average trade guess was 186. What this is specific to is China drawdown in their carryout is forecasted to be upwards of 20 million metric tons. And then obviously with the U.S. crop down 500 million bushels, that's where your decline comes from, but a lot bigger than trade expectations were, because we're trying to figure out how USDA is going to handle China as we work ahead. A non-exporting nation in regards to corn, but a place where we're really seeing a drawdown in stocks, as we've talked about and reiterated often. So we're just coming into a year where we don't have a lot of margin for error, and that's going to be the highlight. Is as we get weather problems, this market's going to take note and step up. If we have a good crop, you know, I think the lower end of the price level is a little higher than what we've seen the last few years. So encouraging on that note, but a lot of dynamics to come this summer. Stay tuned. As you look to the cattle market, feeder cattle up 95 to $1.45, live cattle up 50 to 185, hog market down 45, and the nearby up 75 deferred. Just chopping back and forth. We spent a lot of time on grains. We'll take more time on cattle in the days ahead. But this has been Jim Emter, Van Ahn Company, Alexandria, Minnesota. Trading in futures and options involves risk of loss and is not suitable for all producers. Past performance is not indicative of future results. This is a solicitation. Have a great afternoon.